I am sitting here with Jax Marie Gaming, a.k.a. Jackie, a.k.a. Sadie. Jackie, how are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Thank you for coming down so we can get an interview in as these fillers. You know, I was talking with Bill and Brady because Pat wasn't able to make the game last Thursday as well. And there we go. Every time I start recording, I forget my phone. And
It's funny, you forget to turn yours off, and I have mine in front of me in case I get a phone call because I'm just waiting.
So yeah, you know, I talked to Brady and Bill, and one of the things we talked about was like it's gonna be fun, kind of like doing these interviews now, and then doing them months down the road to see like how the answers have changed on some of this stuff. Not a lot of like deep questions. One of the first questions is, so Sadie's full name is?
Sadie Lynn Devereaux.
And where did that name inspiration come from?
So Sadie is the nanny that I had growing up.
Okay.
She is a Southern African-American woman who, like, I always looked up to. She worked with my mom. She knew my mom, so that's how she came into the family.
Right.
And I loved her. I still love her. The Lynn is from my full name, Jacqueline.
Okay.
And because Sadie is Southern, you don't have one first name, you have two.
Yeah. You know, you have that. It's called country, right?
Exactly.
My mom was a Barbara Lynn, right? So she went by Lynn.
Exactly. So she's Sadie Lynn.
Okay.
And then Devereaux came from Blanche Devereaux from the Golden Girls.
Oh, okay. Love it. Love it. Love it. If you can just scooch just a little bit closer to me there.
No.
There we go. Now you're centered. Fantastic. So it sounds like you have a lot of familiar family connections to these names. So did you do a lot of research on the character, or you just build it off of your own personal experience growing up, or because you're playing a trucker, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So back when I used to work with my parents in the gun show business, I drove a truck.
Okay.
So I drove it was a 20-foot U-Haul that my dad had purchased from U-Haul.
Okay.
And then he taught me how to drive in this truck. So that's where a lot of my trucker ideas came from. So it's kind of just like a bastardization of my entire life in one character. Southern, check. Trucker, I used to drive a truck.
It used, you know, with the other players, this question is a little bit more loaded, but being a trucker, it might be very straightforward. How did your character, how did Sadie get to Sanctuary Valley, and how did she join the Morticians?
So Sadie was a long-distance trucker, and she ended up being in Los Angeles when the zombie apocalypse broke out. So she basically had to fight and survive her way to Sanctuary Valley.
Okay.
And because of that, she got into the fighting rings and the gladiator style fighting and, you know, making money the good, honest way with her fist.
There you go. So yeah, that's rad. Where do you want Sadie to go? Now, unlike everybody else, you're the only person other than myself who's been who has the most amount of funeral director experience. Mm-hmm. Your knowledge of the game and the mechanics and its current state and how things work is bar none. So how do you see Sadie moving forward?
So I think I've established Sadie has a problem with authority.
Right.
I really want her to, I don't know how much I'm allowed to say on this because from what I know, but we have had a run-in with some deputies before.
Yes.
I kind of want her to not dismantle the organization, but definitely become like person numero uno on their wanted list.
Right.
Whether on purpose or on accident.
So not only is Jackie one of our stronger funeral directors with experience, but she's also currently reading the novel. Kickstarter on that should be coming out soon.
It's very good. I recommend
Um, so we also talked to Brady about Extra Life, which is going to be starting tomorrow. Now, this won't come out until afterwards. I'm excited for it, even though I'm not going to be able to participate. I really love when the community gets together to do charitable works. Are you running a game?
I am not, because I recently got a job, but I did do only ended up being 17-hour live stream to raise money for Extra Life. And I think I raised $200 so far.
Nice.
And I'm going to continue doing like 12-hour live streams of it. But I do know we're running a couple of Morticians games this weekend, and I will be there to be the person to ask questions.
Okay, yeah. I'm not going to be able to participate, as I said, this year. But on top of that, what's really exciting is this will be the first public event Morticians is being played at where I'm not there.
Oh, yeah.
And that's, I was telling Mary, I was like, I'm really, really bummed out that I don't get to participate, but I'm also really, really excited that there are others who have taken the game, and because the purpose of creating something like Morticians TTRPG is to hand it off and let others run with it, right? You don't want to create something and be like, no, it's all mine, I'm not going to share it. No, it's like, no, I want people to do it and do it. And I've given Bill as much support as possible, but at the same time I'm wanting to pull away a little bit, because I'm like, no, you know what? This is where you guys just take it and fly and do your thing and be creative, because it's the whole thing behind it.
Yeah, and I'll still be there to help out with the players, because sometimes learning the Morticians mechanics when you've never played with it before is kind of like, that's a lot. But once you get used to it and actually sit down and learn the mechanics, it's like, oh, okay, I understand this now.
Yeah, it looks scarier than it actually is. Because I started playing Mothership Zero Edition long before First Edition was released. Long before, I think it was like 2-3 years before First Edition was even being worked on. And Zero Edition was really, really rough. And it took me about a year to figure out how to play the game. Yeah. One of the things, and it's really streamlined. The focus of the game is to be streamlined. And we kind of took that focus with Morticians. And we want to streamline things as much as possible. But when you look at it on the front end, it's like, oh, wow, this seems really daunting. But as soon as you sit down and start playing it, it's like, oh, no, this is actually incredibly straightforward. So that's always exciting to see, watching new players cross that bridge. Getting back to Sadie, though, you said you wanted to be numero uno on the sheriff's list because you hate authority. That's fun. How do you feel about the current story of the game? What are your questions? We don't do a post-mortem for the zombie trail like we did with Ladies of the Horde. So this is another way of saying comments, concerns, emotional outburst.
Really, my only question right now is, what year is it in this universe? Because I know Ladies of the Horde really took place in 2019.
Yeah.
So it's exactly 7 years after, where most of this has been established already. What year are we in?
2019.
Still 2019.
Still 2019.
Okay, because we were June.
So Ladies of a Horde, different funeral director, different universe.
Different universe. There we go.
Yeah. So that's. I know when you were crafting your storyline for Ladies of the Horde, we had conversations about what I would not like to see. As far as spoilers and development and stuff like that, because the core rulebook's coming out soon,
Very soon,
very, very soon. I thought this was a perfect opportunity to introduce some of the stuff that I was holding off on, like the sheriffs, and who they actually are and how their system of governance actually works. I'm
excited to see more of them.
I did Living with the Reaper the other day, where I broke down the map and put it under the lens of high fantasy. And basically, if you didn't get a chance to check out that episode, check out Living with the Reaper on YouTube.
New episode being filmed today.
That's right. But I kind of laid the map out, and this is all spun off a conversation I shared with Mary. if you look at the white part of the map, that's your kingdom, right? If you put it under the high fantasy lens, the Lords of the Sierras in the green zone are your orcs and goblins.
The dark, shadowy place.
Is exactly. And then to the south is the necropolis, and then the undead horde to the north. And then the cluster, and this is how I kind of played with it a little bit, is the cluster is kind of like tribes of wood elves. And the Farmers Federation is kind of like lowland elves, because there's some similarities in the governments, and all these locations, they have systems of governments. So they're not like, even in goblin war parties, there's a hierarchy and there's an order in which they do things. They have authoritarian warlike state. So that was really, really fun. But I digress. I'm doing the Steve thing. Oh, let me just tell you.
Let me just tell you everything about this.
Yeah, Bill, because the episode's not up yet, and Bill was like, "Yeah, no, I'm a fanatic for cheese." Yeah, we talked about cheese for a little bit.
That was really funny when that like became part of the character to this point. It's like, I'm loving this.
Oh yeah. Well, what's really great is cheese is easy to make if you have the right stuff. And so it's like, well, how do I get the right stuff? And that's the hard part, is like the stuff is really, really, really hard.
Yeah.
So it's going to be fun. I am going to give that to him. But do you ever listen to the Adventure Zone or read their comics?
Yes, I love the Adventure Zone.
Okay, so a taco, right? The taco. They slowly doled that out, and I think I'm gonna do something similar for Bill. Is that he's gonna be able to do it at some point, but we're gonna just kind of stretch out his ability to do this for as long as possible. The big one being the bacteria.
Yeah, and that's gonna be so fun to find. Just as a player, that's a fun mechanic for me as well. See the development of cheese. And Sadie's over here just like, I don't normally eat cheese, but I will. What is that?
So you have a long distance plan with the sheriffs. What's your immediate character goals that you would like to work towards? I mean, other than leveling.
Sadie really wants a pair of brass knuckles or spiked knuckles.
Okay.
Because her unarmed is insane.
Yeah.
Her melee damage is insane. So I really want to give her the ability to be that damage giver. But I also want her primary goal in life right now to be to find a phone book.
You want a phone book, huh?
So she can do a phone book.
Right.
And actually like phone book out her Mortician smock and just give herself that impression of, all right, I saw this done in a movie once. I am now invincible.
So what's funny about phone booking, and for viewers at home, phone booking is a prison body armor, basically, where you take phone books and you tape them to your body. Yes, I got the idea from Next Friday, or the Friday After Next, or whatever that movie was. Got to get my body armor on. I love that scene.
Yeah.
But the issue with phone booking is it deteriorates rapidly. So even though, it's kind of, carpeting is actually better because it's sturdier than the phone book.
It's better, it's sturdier, it's easier to find, but Sadie is like just
fixated on the phone book.
Phone books.
Because currently,
because she doesn't have very good AC right now. She only has a 17.
Right. So currently Bill's character, John, is fixated on cheese. Brady's character, Calvin, is fixated on a whetstone. Out of everything you guys just said, guess which is going to be the easiest thing for you guys to get? It shouldn't be hard to find a whetstone lying around somewhere.
I was going to say cheese.
And I'm hoping to have one of these interviews with Pat. Do you have any questions for me?
Is there anything you want us to engage with more mechanics-wise as players?
No. I want to... I'm going to throw stuff at you. How you guys engage is how you engage. I don't want to. I do not want to hamper or manipulate the funeral director player relationship to test anything out. I want an honest response to how people. I've said this often, especially during beta and during live events for testing and extra lives. I don't know what I don't know, and I could sit here for the rest of my life and try to think up of ways to poke holes in the mechanics, and I will never come near a fraction of what just honest player brains come up with. So no, we do combat because combat's exciting. It's the reason why we play. These are war games, so we're here to kill stuff. And there is always going to be that. But when I want to do speech stuff, I'm going to throw opportunities for you guys to talk. We're going to be building, one of the things that I am focusing on the story is kind of developing the world a little bit clearer for everyone who's a fan of the game.
And kind of book, it's amazing. It does beautiful world development.
Yeah, actually, we talked the other day because I started typing to you on Discord, and you're like, "What was it? Where's this coming from?" Because we had, because I wasn't talking to her, I was talking to an artist. I'm starting the process to look for a cover artist.
He told me he was able to hear me, and I was in the kitchen singing with my friend Jen.
Oh, that is creepy.
Yeah,
that is so creepy.
Because I was at Jen's house.
Yeah.
And we were just, singing along to whatever was playing on the Alexa. And I can hear you. I'm like, what?
Oh, my God. That's Heart Attack Hill right there. Oh, my God. Yeah. So what if I want to see something, I'm going to throw something at you to see how you guys respond to it. And that's the only way. You guys are playing your characters the way you want to play your characters. Funeral director should never have a say in that. Mm-hmm. Funeral director is supposed to pivot and move and work around things and try to figure out how to resolve and make everyone happy. I don't want to interfere with how you guys play.
Be very good at improv, a lot of yes-anding, and that's how you get to where you have a character like why did I forget Callie's character's name?
Ariana.
Who can do like 30 damage per round.
Oh, yeah.
Well, per hit.
So, and that's kind of the thing is that was really kind of nice with ladies. Is it was for the first time, excuse me, nobody got up to level 9. Mm-hmm. All the beta testing, all the stuff, everyone, the farthest we got was level 8. So when Ladies of the Horde was like crossing that level 10 threshold and like what like upper level combat looks like, that was really, really exciting. Mm-hmm. And also really, really gratifying that the fact that the bestiary was functioning as designed. Mm-hmm. Like, so the threat level was there and the challenge levels were there, but it didn't bog down and get really crunchy.
The redesign of how you did the zombies and the humans to that chart is so much easier than flipping back and forth, because a few times in Ladies of the Horde, I lost that chart and I was using the book and I'm like, I missed my chart.
Well, it makes it more consistent. When I funeral direct non-Morticians games, one of my biggest frustrations is bookmarking 8 to 10 different, it's like the Lost Mines of Phandalin. It's like you've got stingers and goblins, and it comes with everything, and it's on 5 different pages in alphabetical order, but you're still flipping pages back and forth.
Or using D&D Beyond, and you have to create a folder to save all of your monsters to, and then you have to flip back and forth through the monsters, and it looks like you're just constantly on your phone in front of your players.
And the way Morticians is set up is you have a leveling chart with base stats for all the monsters, and then you have a flavor chart to add zombie, human, and animal archetypes to the base levels, so that at any given time you can throw level appropriate monsters that fit better with your story. Mm-hmm. instead of creating a story around monsters at a certain level.
I love poppers. They're fantastic. But the one time I threw a screamer at my characters, I think one of them has an actual trauma response to it now.
So yeah, that's it for today. It's 20 minutes. Thank you for coming over in your spare time to do this.